I believe that the law was enacted after the state employees' general strike. So that's why I'm saying I think that may well have been the tipping point. And again, it was my sense of things as we were going through those strikes that the intention was to create a situation where the municipal employers and the state as an employer would be encouraged to adopt as a law an alternative dispute resolution mechanism, an alternative to these strikes.
And do you remember who was all involved in putting the law forward? Or
Well, I remember, I think...
did you work on it at all?
I didn't. John Lawton did,
Mm-hmm.
who was my senior at the law firm that I was with. Morris Andrews was involved in that. You might remember his name. He was the WEAC executive director at the time. I think Morris had a lot to do with the strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Although he subsequently has indicated or said that he would have picked a different place than Hortonville. Strike.
To throw it on the gauntlet.
Right,
Yeah.
because Hortonville was, I mean, what Hortonville showed is that you can lose strikes, and you lose them real badly. And the strikes pretty much ended. I think I've seen something, somewhere I read, that there may have been one or two strikes after that, but then they just petered out completely among the public sector employees. Because the mediation arbitration law did what it was supposed to do. It provided an appropriate dispute resolution mechanism. And contrary to what some people might say, it did not, it permitted a reasonable wage increases throughout the years for municipal employees, but it didn't give the house away. I mean, there are management type people who argue that it was a disaster, and that's just baloney. I mean, I remember quite some time ago seeing statistics that indicated that actually with our interest arbitration statute, our public employees really didn't do very much better than in places like Iowa and Minnesota where they didn't have interest arbitration. Right.
Yeah.
That we had kept up with Minnesota and Iowa, but we were right in the ballpark with them, and so I mean it was like the right to have. I don't know if those states had the right to strike or not, but whatever it was, we were we weren't doing that. We weren't doing better than they were doing. So the argument that somehow the interest arbitration statute had created some huge inflation in public employee wages is just baloney.
But what it did was kept the peace, right?
It did.
Kept the
Yeah, yes, that it did.